We are back, folks, in the illustrious Studio Triple J, home of the Protect You podcast, for yet another episode. Folks, welcome on in to another exciting one. Jay, I'm very excited for this. As always, Jake Wilson here alongside the man, Jay Mickens. Jay, there was a lot that went down last week. We talked about some high caliber additions, some players that willingly deserve the spotlight, and now we're getting right back into the swing of things, Jay, after a weekend that was a little bit more relaxed than what we've been accustomed to over these past month since about the start of the football season, since the really grind time, I would say, of the football season.
Yeah, no, definitely was a much needed recharging of the battery, right? Although we're having so much fun doing what we're doing here, Protection United, not only I would say going and helping our clients, right, with certain things, but just getting to support them, right? I think it speaks volumes when we already have someone that's playing collegiately that we go watch them play, or a high school kid. But yeah, this weekend needed to be a little bit more of a relax. And I know Ashley enjoyed it, right? Thursday's our fourth year anniversary,
Well,
right?
congratulations.
So thank you. So we got some plans for in a couple of days. But yeah, I mean, Saturday was a Saturday date day, right? Kind of started off here. I just want to kind of take a break to say that this used to be where her and I would go do this for fun, right? Now it was almost like bring girlfriend to work day, right? We're just so blessed that getting to watch football is now actually a job, right? And I'm having so much fun with it. But her and I got to go, watch football. Then, of course, getting the, show quick little selfie of us. You see Ashley's representing the U. She got her Protection United.
As always.
It wasn't even forced, by the way. She put it on herself. I didn't even ask her.
Say, with the amount of Protect You stuff that's taken over my closet, I'm definitely going to need to influence that a little bit more as well.
Oh, I know, man. It's so funny. I mean, now Ashley, if she had a choice, she probably would have wanted to go somewhere to take a nap. She's so tired. Baby George's wearing her out. I love her to death, though. Ashley's been such a godsend, taking care of the baby here and allowing me to build a business, right, in the presence of it. But still gave me that beautiful smile of hers and was so excited. And then got to go hang out with some friends, right? So they decided to have lady in hats,
there you
right?
go.
So on the left, you're looking at Amanda Scoggin. That's BJ Scoggins' wife,
Yes.
right? Our director of player development here, Protection United. Of course, we know Ashley. That's next, looking from left to right here. Then Kristen Brady, she is not only J.D. Brady's mom, middle linebacker for Klein Collins, right? One of the top schools in this area. But she's also the principal at Klein Collins.
It's a good connection to have.
Very, very, very great connection. And then last but not least, to the right, the Nicole Dartez. We're actually at Nicole's house. She was the one that went and got the hats for the ladies.
Say, it looks a little Kentucky Derby-esque almost.
Yeah,
repping the big hats.
Exactly. And Nicole is one of those ones where she's like, you're not going to uptime me. You know why she went and got the hats?
Tell me why.
Because we were watching college football. We were watching A&M and LSU.
Yeah.
And I believe it was someone's wife. They showed in the crowd. It was Arch Manning's. It was Arch Manning's mom.
Okay.
Arch Manning's mom. And Nicole's like, who's that with that hat? And we told her, next thing you know, she's like, well, I got some hats that's going to beat her out because nobody's going to big time Nicole. So anyway, fun way to end Saturday night, hanging with the fellas, watching football. It was great.
Yes.
It was great, man. It was a fun weekend for sure.
Say, you and I both took a little bit of this time to recharge, recoup, make a little bit of that family connection of talking with people that we haven't really been up to schedule with a lot of these people for a while. But Jay, the rest is going to be short-lived because we are very excited because we have a long week of travel ahead of us, Jay, especially this weekend, because on Friday we will be heading up to Ruston, Louisiana, for another Louisiana Tech game. You've been playing super dad with a lot of those trips to go and watch the Bulldogs and especially Jalen play, but I will be joining you for that game on the Halloween night matchup between Louisiana Tech and Sam Houston. We're very grateful for Louisiana Tech pulling some connections, making sure that we can get in there to watch one of our 5-pillar athletes get out there on the gridiron. We'll get into him just a little bit later in the episode, but on top of that too, Jay, you and I will then be coming back and then immediately catching a flight
to head
to Jacksonville, Florida for the world's largest cocktail party between the Florida Gators and the Georgia Bulldogs, where we are very gracious to the University of Florida for approving our media passes,
Yeah.
where we will be able to get into the press box for that game. Jay, I'm super excited for it. It's been a long time since I've been in that type of environment for a college football game, Jay. I know this will be a new experience for you, being up there surrounded by all the media outlets and all the talking heads up there, but I'm very excited for it, Jay, and I'm glad that we can make this opportunity happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, you talk about a powerful weekend. I mean, going up to TCU, right, to see two other pillars, right, with Samara Coleman and Dylan Kenny, right? Love the Coleman and Kenny family. I bet people think that like I get paid every time I say that. I really mean it, guys. It's
$10 per name.
Yeah, no. The Colemans and the Kennys can do no wrong in my eyes. I don't care if whatever the world wants to say about them. I'm like, nope, not true. Not true. You can't. There's nothing bad you can say about the Colemans and the Kennys in my eyes. But yes, we thought that trip was set up, and it was beautiful. TCU showed us mad love. But you talk about an opportunity of a lifetime, in essence, of being a football fan, just starting there, right? But now being a part of the football world from the business sides as well as the relationship building sides with the college coaches, the general managers, and everything in between. And then also getting to support our guys kind of all in one. But to tee up a Friday night homecoming for Louisiana Tech, cannot wait for that. They're coming out with some brand new black uniforms. Like it's going to be Ghost Out, right? La Tech, big shout out to our team up there, Montana and Company, that got us up to it would be the press box, more of the suites, right? So we'll get to be up there, getting to enjoy the game, dining with all of the president, the athletic director, and the former alumni, right? Don't know if Ted Bradshaw or Carl Malone will be in the house, but
could be.
It's homecoming.
Absolutely.
It's homecoming.
If there's any reason for those people to be back, it would be homecoming.
It would be homecoming. So anyway, just getting the opportunity to do that and then to go to the world's largest cocktail party in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll get the car service name. We'll give him a shout out next week because there's no way in hell we were going to be driving all the way to Friday and then driving back Friday night. I would have been exhausted. I don't know where we would have woken up. Maybe on the side of the ditch or something. It would have been terrible.
Hey, Jay, I credit myself on being a good co-pilot, but that would have been one heck of a commitment.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I've been like, hey, Jake's a real rider guy. But getting that set up for us to bring us back straight from Houston, making a long day trip right up to Ruston, and then coming back to catching an early morning flight to get back in time for a 2:30 here local time kickoff for Georgia and Florida to get to see two other pillars, right? Yeah. And DJ Lagway as well as Justin Williams. It doesn't get any better than that, And this is an opportunity for us to now have officially showed love to all five of our guys that are up on this wall and to do it in such a first-class, I would say, treatment as well as the red carpet setting. The opportunity to be able to get, potentially pictures with DJ and Justin, right? We still got to work out the logistics with how far our media passes get, right? In the stadium in Jacksonville, but getting the opportunity just to go there and show love and support to Jalen on Friday night and then Justin and DJ on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it, and I expect this to be a very fun weekend.
No, I'm very excited for this one as well, Jay. Talking about that red carpet type of treatment where we were able to secure a lot of things to make this feel like more than just a opportunity to go and see our athletes. This is more of a full-blown excursion, more of an experience than anything else, where we're able to tie so fluently the agency perspective of it, right? Where these are people that we represent, right? But then also we're still fans of the game. And this is a really cool opportunity for you and I to get out there and see a world that I've seen, but it's been quite a while since I've been in that type of environment. But to be up in the press box like that, it's a very surreal type of experience, Jay. And I'm very happy that we're able to make it all come together for this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And, being a part of the media, that's something that we've done, at least for me. I mean, speaking of myself, I've only done it from the podcast side, right? Here, and obviously our other podcasts that we do at Woodlands Online, right? And that, puts us directly into the media. I know you've done it, and to your point, I'm definitely excited to get to see that side of it. to interview, right? Our guys and kind of talk about, where they were to where they are now. It's just going to be a fun experience, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yes, there's a lot to look forward to over this weekend. And speaking of guys that we were going to go out there and see, Jalen got his first collegiate start, and you were there in person to watch it all happen. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into that from the emotional standpoint. Obviously, the dad perspective has to play into that one, on top of the agency and the representation side of things. But Jay, you've talked so much about the uphill battle to get to this point of Jalen being that undersized, overlooked wide receiving threat, but now he's made such a name for himself and he's put in so much work to get to this point behind the scenes to where now he can finally celebrate this fantastic moment. Can you just give me what that feeling was like when you saw that happen?
Yeah, as you and I both know, he was already getting starter minutes, right?
Yes.
He was going in and out a lot, and there's hour last. Thanks to you, Jake, telling me about that hour last where they actually break down the reps and how many plays you get, right?
Yes.
So he was already kind of 50-50. A lot of I would say luck goes into certain things, right? They come off a loss. Now they're like, okay, we got to reset. We were on a 3-game win streak. And now we got to go really judge our guys and see. And, Jalen has just been working his tail off and, got graded higher than some of the other guys. And so it's been just a phenomenal experience, getting to watch him do, his thing. And, now we're at the point to where this is one of those deals to where he is getting his chance to start and be an official starter as a true freshman.
Yes.
Right. Which is not really heard of a lot in today's game of college football. So, yes, very emotional getting up there, just because you knew that you're going to get to see your kid be on there. Of course, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Derek Lagway was in the house. He wanted to come with me and wanted to be a part of this special moment. So we came up, stayed for a day. And, of course, D-Lag had to represent the U, right? I had my latte gear on. But as you can see, right, great picture there with Jalen after the game. You see D-Lag changed multiple times. He brought layers.
He said he brought the wardrobe with him.
He did. He wanted to make sure that different pictures came with different, looks, right? So the night hit, he wanted to wear the all white. Sun's out, he's got the black on. But, this is probably the part where I was like, okay, this is now legit, right? When they show that video of all the starters and, you see your kid up there, right? Of course, here you see one of his catches that he made. He had 3 catches on the night. This is probably one of my favorites because he had to dive, as you mentioned, during pregame.
Say he had to get low. Referee had to dive out of the way of that one.
Hit the matrix a little bit, But, yeah, I mean, it just kind of credits to, what we stand for here. And it's funny to me, Jake, because you and I know what business is about, right? We understand that you got a big name, or in this case, big names here, right? With 2 5-stars on here with Justin Williams and DJ Lagway. That would be the attention getter here. But a lot of people have been actually intrigued on what we've done for Samara Coleman, what we've done for Dylan Kenny, and also what we've done with the Jalen Mickens. Jalen, like you mentioned, being a 5'9" slot receiver, now a outside receiver. Now they move them all over. Those guys typically aren't getting FBS offers anymore, right? But through what we've done here for him, with Protection United, it seems like every expo we've done, every meeting that we've had here recently, people are like, hey, DJ's amazing, but he's once-in-a-lifetime generational talent. My kid ain't a 6'3", 225, phenom of an athlete that can throw a ball 80 yards. My kid looks more like your kid. Tell me, what did you do, right? And so just getting to actually help, tell his story from a business side, but then from a parent side, also getting to look at all the hard work that he put in, away from all of this stuff. He never let the white noise get in his ears, was never, in my opinion, treated as the number one option, ever in high school, but he didn't complain, right? He always did what he could do, and he took advantage of his opportunities. And then off the field, he allowed me to build his brand and make sure that we promoted him through Protection United. And you're kind of getting to see the end results. And it's just the beginning, Jake, with him being a freshman.
Yes, there's a lot of opportunities for him to continue to live up to the hype and continue to prove himself. I think that's the most underrated part of what Jalen's career has been thus far, is the work that he's willing to put in behind the scenes, where a lot of guys, they would talk about I need my opportunity. I need this. I need this. Whereas it seems like from the perspective I've seen and the way you've talked about Jalen is a lot of that comes down to his mentality of, I don't need these opportunities. I'm going to make these opportunities count. Whenever you give me the chance, that's when I'm going to go out there and prove that I deserve to be here. And then I'm going to continue to work behind the scenes. I'm going to work in the weight room. I'm going to work on the practice field. So that way you continue to build up that excitement, continue to build up that trust from the coaching staff. I think that's a healthy mentality for a lot of athletes moving forward. And now you're starting to see it pay off on a bigger stage for Jalen.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, brother. Yeah,
absolutely. And we move now into our next guy, another guy that's been putting in a lot of really solid work, a guy that we just announced last week as a new addition of the Protect You crew. But
if you ball,
you get the call.
It don't matter. That's if you announced last week, this week, last year. If you ball, you're going to get the call.
That's just the way of the game, man.
Way it works here at the Protect You podcast.
Absolutely, because Cash Farrell, that man balled, and he definitely deserves to get the call. Hey. After putting up a great performance against Klein Collins last week, he went out there and put it up again.
There it is. And then, make sure we slow this down, Computer Jesus. Yeah, we want to break this out. So we got Addie Farrell, right? Our client relations manager, right?
Yes.
And also Cash Farrell's sister.
Yes.
How awesome is that? And then, of course, here, right, of course, we have BJ Scoggin in the background, director of player development. Of course, Cash's parents are there as well. And, I mean, just great atmosphere, right? Of course, the Inyards on the left, right? Great family friends of ours. Their son plays defense for Magnolia. But just a great night to go against what we call here locally the Fighting Zombies.
Yes, they went up against the Tomball Cougars in what was a highly lauded game from the outset of it, but Cash Farrell got to work.
Oh, man, that hurdle, the stiff arm, breaks another tackle, and then, oh, man. And then here's my favorite part of it. You got time to do all that, and then you said, you know what? I still got you, fam. I'm going to hit my celly. I'm going to let the people know I got that swag. I mean, the offensive linemen are probably telling them, dog, we didn't even block for you. That was awesome. I hope, Computer Jesus, we can just roll that one more time because I want to show just the makeup of when we announced him last week. We said that if Christian McCaffrey, and we also said if Cam Scatterboo had a baby, that kid would be Cash Farrell. I mean, first of all, look at the vision of hitting the hole and understanding where we need to go. And then the freaking hurdle. Ooh, clean. And then get off me, kid. And then another break tackle. And I want the nation to know, because I know we got people watching us from other states, that is one of the best defenses in the Houston area, which is the fourth largest city in the nation. That team,
and he's doing that.
And he's doing that. This isn't against, the little sisters of the poor, right? This is against a team that consistently has shown that they can go deep in the playoffs, that have pushed teams that, they probably shouldn't have pushed, but they did, right? And they're not an easy team to beat. But what Cash Farrell is doing is what we have known for him to do. Now it's time for the rest of the nation to recognize. We know we got a lot of college coaches that are watching this. We do love and appreciate the support. Hence why we do this on Tuesdays, because we know this is a lot of y'all's off days and off times to kind of lay back and rewind and relax yourselves. But Cash Farrell is a guy that is about to hit the scene. We're so honored to be representing him. And you can't make this up, right? The film doesn't lie, right? The main thing is the main thing. If it wasn't for his talent, we wouldn't be able to promote and do the things that we're doing for him. But he's doing what he needs to do on the field. Now it's our job here at Protect United to do what we need to do for him. But the skill set, the speed, the power, the agility, I mean, this kid has it all, Jake. There's nothing that he cannot do from the backfield. We showed an array of highlights last week, but that video, I expect that to go viral. And I truly mean that. We're going to make sure we push that out here to the masses. My own three guys, y'all get ready to get this sent to you, because that's something that we know that he's going to be able to capitalize and start truly getting on the radar of a lot of these colleges.
Saying that was just one of 3 touchdowns that he had in that game for Magnolia, and a 38-3 drubbing of Tomball. And what is definitely, I feel like, one of the better statement wins that Magnolia has had this entire season. But if you've been watching that Bulldog squad, you know that this is just what they do. They rely so much on Cash to get things done for them, whether that's running out of the Wildcat, which they did a pretty heavy amount against Klein Collins. utilizing him as that versatile threat that he is out of the backfield, being able to discern and dissect a defense, being able to hit a hole when he needs to. And not only that, but hit it with such speed. I think that's the biggest thing is he has a good gear.
Yeah.
He has a good gear shift within him
I agree.
of utilizing that slow up, find the gap, and then he hits it.
Yeah, he's just patient. I mean, that's what you want from a running back. I mean, he's a patient runner. He understands to allow his blocks to develop, and then he'll go hit the hole. But there's something else that he can do. He can also throw the football.
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's amazing. I mean, he's a great young man off the field. He's a yes or no sir kind of guy, very respectful. He's definitely a guy that not only will not get a coach fired, but he probably will help a lot of coaches get some contract extensions.
Get a contract extension or a promotion.
And increase them buyouts.
Yes. We've been seeing a lot of those lately.
Yeah. That's okay, though.
Hey,
I walk away for $56 million.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And ain't nothing wrong with Cash Farrell. Continue the good work, my man. You've been balling with a capital B on that one, too. And speaking of that, too, another versatile guy that got it done both on special teams and on traditional offense was somebody that we have been neglecting a little bit, but now it's time to show some well-deserved love to Rolly Pinto out of Alabama, out of Piedmont. This is a guy, Jay, that when you talk about a Swiss Army knife, I know we represent a couple of those guys. Marco Beltran is one that comes to mind, but when you talk about a Swiss Army knife type of talent, Rolly Pinto is one that should absolutely come to mind in terms of one of the best return guys that I have seen as a member of the Protect You crew, while also being that surefire number one receiving threat.
Yeah, no, I mean, what he's doing, this is a young man that's from Alabama, and what he's doing on the Alabama circuit, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, this young man is doing it all. I mean, and by the way, this is not a replay, right? This is the second one that he did on the night, but I mean, just a great young man. I mean, and his talent just dictates a lot. I mean, look at the separation of just blowing over once the ball has been released. I mean, like, he's unguardable. I mean, he's just a young man. Oh, look at the Joe. Stop it.
Stays in bounds and gets it again.
Oh, then let's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty. I like that, baby. Once again, another young man showing that swag. Currently committed to Jack State, and I think he wants to hold strong in that commitment because, I mean, he's just, it's a local school close by, and he's excited to be, playing for him. And we look forward to working with this young man. I mean, Jack State's definitely getting a steal because, he had other offers, but he felt, a great connection there with the coaching staff. And, when we've talked to him, they seem to really believe in him, and they have big plans for this young man to where he potentially could be playing as a true freshman. So, I'm excited for Raleigh.
Yes, absolutely, because you talked about how he had such a great performance in their win in a 56-14 win over Wellborn. 4 touchdowns, 2 of them were punt returns, including those 2 that you saw were on back-to-back returns. At which point, Jay, do you feel like we just need to boot it out of bounds?
Yeah.
Just get it anywhere away from Rolly Pinto because that guy took over the game.
It's funny, going back to watching that LSU A&M game, like there's a clip going around where, I don't know, his name Chip or Jim Kelly, clearly.
It's Brian Kelly.
Brian, there it is, BK. Like you literally see him going to a special teams guy being like, kick the ball effing out of bounds. Like he stopped kicking it because back-to-back punts, and that's what happens.
Yes.
Like I don't know, these coaches, their pride or ego gets in the way. I don't know why you kick to them. Kick it out of bounds. Kick it out of bounds, but don't let that kid get his hands on it because bad things will happen for you.
Yes.
Special teams.
Because when you're talking about the way special teams are able to affect a game, I feel like is way more of the mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
In terms of if you're able to get back-to-back punt return touchdowns, what do you do as an opposing team? You've given up 2 scores and your defense or your offense did not even participate. How do you stop that? Rolly Pinto alone outscored Wellborn in that game. Love to see it. Love to continue the highlights. Keep them rolling. And not only that, Jay, he's been getting interviews, good local press getting there after the game, making sure that Rolly and that Piedmont squad are getting the love that they deserve because they are still undefeated. 9-0 overall in the season, 7-0 in district play. Keep up the good work, man, because there's going to be a lot of publicity coming your way.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jake. And I cannot wait to watch this young man as he progresses, finishing his high school career and getting to the college level, because I think he's going to surprise a lot of people with how well he plays the game and the IQ that comes with it, understanding route running, understanding zones versus man coverage. I truly think that he could be the next Cooper Cup type level, player that end up being just a high level possession player. Even like a Lad McConaughey, like just one of those guys the way you're like, how's he always open? Like, how does he know how to do those things? And it's because of just the intelligence that comes with this young man. I mean, he supports a 4.0 GPA as well, Jake. We don't want to bury that lead.
Absolutely not.
And that comes with just hard work in the classroom. But, he's a film junkie. He understands the study, his opponents, and he respects all his opponents. So I'm not shocked that he's leading his team currently to an undefeated season.
No, I don't doubt any of that, Jay. It was very good to see that he cares just as much about the academics, because when you say student athlete, student always comes first.
Mm-hmm.
So good to see him taking that balance and then paying it off on the football field as well, completing that full package performance. And we round out ball and get the call here with a little bit of a comeback performance, a little bit of a pick-me-up story out of Blinn College, where we have a couple of guys out of there, Michael Mesquise, Moose, as we call him around here, and then Jack Emerson getting the comeback performance that he deserves. He'd been dealing with a nagging shoulder injury, a shoulder sprain that had been sidelining him for just a little bit of action, but he came back with a vengeance, Jay, putting up 2 touchdowns in a near comeback victory against Eastern Oklahoma A&M. But it's just good to see him back out there on the field and still delivering the way that he had been earlier in the season.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, Jack's always been just one of those guys that I feel also has not gotten the credit that he deserved, from the high school level. And hence why he was smart to make the decision of saying, you know what, instead of me trying to force my hand on a D1 level right now, let me go to a JUCO. I'm guaranteed to start because I know I'm going to beat the other quarterbacks out. And most importantly, I won't lose any years of eligibility, right? But, I mean, you see the ball, how he's moving. I mean, he's throwing on the run. He's creating a new pocket. He's throwing in the pocket. I mean, Jack spoiled us last year, right? Having to follow the great DJ Lagway, those were not shoes that were easily able to be filled. And you look at what happened and what transpired, in his senior season. But a lot of coaches were doubting him. I mean, was this a one-hit wonder? Can he continuously do this, or would he just have a good year? Is it because he had Jermaine Bishop and Jalen Mickens, right, as his top receivers? What was the reason behind it? And, well, guess what? Jalen and Jermaine, they're not there. Romel Stevens, they're not at Blinn. And Jack is still proving that he can do it at a very high level. So very happy for this young man. And I know that his future is very bright. I look forward to connecting him with a lot of our college coaches that we've built relationships with over the past few years. And we're going to help get Jack somewhere. Like, his story is nowhere close to being completed. And we're just starting to get the ink wet and putting it on paper.
No, I don't doubt any of that. This is a guy that is a lot of that same mentality, right, that we talked about with Jalen, of I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to make use of these opportunities too. Because Blinn has really been sort of that proving ground type of school now, where you talk about Cam Newton went to Blinn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you're talking about, this is where guys...
Also Michael Bishop.
Yes, absolutely.
Michael Bishop went to Blinn.
Well, this is the proving ground. This is the proving stage in the career of Jack Emerson, where you take what you did at Willis, and sure, while you're splitting reps with a lot of other guys that are equally trying to prove themselves, you make the absolute most of those opportunities by getting out there and just delivering a solid throw. And then when the home run ball presents itself, you have the wiseness and you have the good field vision to dissect and understand, I can take this risk now because there is an open opportunity. I'm not going to try and force something just to be flashy like some other people might. That's what a great quarterback does. And that's what Jack Emerson does.
Right.
Is he understands the situation. He understands beyond just the aspect of the game, putting good film out there, putting smart film out there. Because I feel like that's a drawback of a lot of great quarterbacks, is that they rely so heavily on look at these great highlights. Look at all of these great moments that I have. Whereas with Jack, we've seen a lot of the surgical precision that you would want out of that pro style quarterback who can sit back and make those types of throws. But then also when that pocket collapses, he has the wherewithal to tug it and run, take off, make that opportunity. Let's live to fight another down instead of trying to force something that would look good for him if it worked out. But if it doesn't work out, it hurts everybody involved.
No, I agree. And, adding on to what you were saying about his elusiveness, I mean, he's also faster than most people would think.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And that's what I love about Jack, too, is that if he's got to tuck and run, he's going to go get things. I used to get on him all the time, slide. He always felt like that he wasn't showing enough toughness, right? But, so proud of him. He understands the importance of get down, get what you can get, either get out of bounds or slide. But, just the moxie behind that young man, great parents, in Steve and Natalie Emerson. They've done a phenomenal job of raising him. So that core value is there. And he's another young man that not only will not get a coach fired, but will also help get some extensions along the way. And, he was able to come in at Willis High School and also help get some more hardware added to Trent Miller's trophy case and kind of keep things going. And Jack is a kid that I know without a shadow of a doubt will have a bright future here in college football, and there will be a multitude of schools that'll be looking at him, I would say, in the next 12 to 18 months.
No, again, Jay, don't doubt any of that. This will be, I feel like, one of those proving athletes where you talk about sort of like maybe even like a Diego Pavia almost, of like this kid just bursts onto the scene, but he's such a reliable option that it's hard for you, one, not to cheer for him, and two, it's not hard to understand where the success is coming from.
Right. No, exactly.
But that rounds out this edition of Ball and Get the Call. We move now to breaking news out of the state of Ohio, as we have talked several times about the expansion of NIL to the high school levels. We've talked about how certain states are still a little bit behind others in terms of offering compensation for name, image, and likeness to high school athletes. Whereas now the state of Ohio has had a breaking court ruling brought down earlier last week. The timeline of an upcoming vote for NIL was accelerated due to a Franklin County Common Pleas Court judge ruling offering a temporary restraining order that would allow all students of all 818 schools of the Ohio, basically UIL for those of y'all that live down here in Texas, but for the Ohio High School Athletic Association to receive compensation through NIL. And there was an update to this story, as well as all high school principals in Ohio will vote on an emergency bylaw on November 17th to the 21st. And a little bit of information on the previous vote. They did vote down an NIL proposal that came down in 2022. But should Ohio move forward with this, they will become one of many states that has decided to offer NIL compensation for high schoolers. There are now only 6 states in the country that offer no NIL rules or NIL compensation for high school students. That is currently Ohio, Alabama, Indiana, Michigan, Mississippi, and Wyoming. And I toss over this question now to you, Jay, of how do you feel like this court ruling, where the instance this came up was because of parents pushing the issue in courts, issuing that their students and their children deserved compensation through the Sherman Antitrust Act for NIL compensation. How do you feel like this might be potentially as a domino case moving forward, where one legal precedent is set and it moves everything else forward?
Yeah. What I think is happening is that they're recognizing there are a lot of other states that are benefiting from this, right? You're looking at states like Florida, California, Georgia to a degree. Like these athletes are making money in high school, and we touched on this. I would say, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago, but we're looking at a situation of where you're allowed to go work at Chick-fil-A or Whataburger or In-N-Out if you're a West Coast guy, but you can't have a company pay you to endorse their product. You can go work at a TJ Maxx or at a Gap the sell product, but you can't wear it and make money by posting on your social media. So a little bit of a contradictory there. I feel that the majority of the states recognize that and realize who are we to judge how someone, makes money, how, someone is compensated as long as it's not anything illegal, right? Or from a moral standpoint, right? They're not endorsing, tobacco products as a minor. They're not endorsing alcohol as a minor, right? But they're just endorsing a certain brand or endorsing a certain company and helping that company make money, and they're being compensated for it, right? I mean, that's the American way. And so I feel that Ohio had a really strong case. They have a lot of top athletes in that state. A young man had contracts on the table that were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, multiple contracts, and there was missed opportunities there. So now getting to the snowball effect part of your question, I wonder what will happen, right? Will the other states, move forward and kind of recognize that this can be governed and it can be done the right way. But here, most importantly, the great state of Texas, what happens here, right? I feel that, you become a Texan if you live here for at least a decade or longer, right? I've been here for about, I don't know, I got here in 2010, so 15 years, right? So I kind of pride myself as being a Texan now, and I know how we move here. A lot of times we move at the beat of our own drum. Like there's not going to be any persuading one way or another. Either we're going to do something or we're not. But there is something about a court of law, and I would be shocked if someone else doesn't do what Ohio did, which had other states do before because they were following suit. You also got bordering states with Louisiana as well as Oklahoma that do allow high school NIL. And could they be, crushing in a little bit? But there's going to be a case that's going to be presented, Jake. I truly believe this in all 50 states at some point to basically have a legitimate argument. And a judge is going to have to really take this seriously. And unless, the naysayers can provide some kind of, reasoning behind why this should not be allowed, I just don't know how ultimately they're going to be able to stop it.
No, I had been playing a little bit of devil's advocate of I was initially a little apprehensive, especially for NIL for high schoolers, where at the collegiate level, I can understand that this is a multi-billion dollar industry that is built on the backs of student athletes,
Right.
where I've seen multiple horror stories of a guy goes down with a career-ending injury, and that's it. The university is not liable for anything. There's no compensation or anything like that,
Right.
but that athlete's life has forever been changed. I think it was a TCU athlete back in the 80s where he was paralyzed from the waist down. His life is never going to be the same. But because of the aspect of amateurism that the NCAA operated under at the time and still technically operates under, even though NIL has done away with that, TCU was not liable for any damages.
Yeah.
This man can no longer walk, but TCU gets to wipe their hands clean because they say, you were a student athlete, we owe you nothing. Your scholarship was all that was owed to you. So I love that there has been more of an embracing of it at the collegiate level. And obviously, as regulations and rules have come down, things have definitely straightened out for the better. But I feel like the argument for NIL for high schoolers is a lot trickier because we're talking about for the vast majority of high schoolers, you're not going to be on that level where you're going to be receiving that type of compensation. The reason this was brought up in Ohio is because this is Jameer Brown that we're talking about, who is the top wide receiver in the class of 2027, has already verbally committed to Ohio State. And the argument brought forward by the attorneys was that he was missing out on more than $100,000 worth of NIL compensation. That's not a drop in the bucket. That is life-changing amounts of money for a family and for, we'll call it what it is, legally a kid.
Right.
Not everybody is going to be making that type of money. Very few people are going to be making that type of money. I mean, Jay, you and I can only really think of in the entire state of Texas, maybe 10 at the most that would be making that type of money.
Maybe, I don't know. I think it would be more than that, if I'm being honest with you, just because there's so much talent in the state of
That's
Texas,
fair. That's
in
fair.
the state of Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, California. So I do think the high school mecca states, it could be, if you're talking about 100,000, now if we're talking millions,
Millions. Then
then
yes.
yeah, then at that point, right, we can go through a handful of, out. But like DJ Lagway would have had a legitimate case,
Yeah.
right? In regards to, if his parents would have decided to do that, Justin Williams could have had a legitimate case, right? A DeCorian Moore, right? The great receiver that was at Duncanville that is now starting as a true freshman at Oregon would have had a case, right? If we're really putting that out there in essence of, and that's just guys that's just here the past, 2 or 3 years that we're talking about, right? We could go through the history banks and talk about just all the top talent, right? That come through the quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford of the world. What could he have potentially made, right? Andy Dalton, a Quinn Ewers, a Kupnick, right? All these quarterbacks that are come from the state of Texas, like what could they have also potentially made, as was missed out on potential, income. I will say that a lot of these athletes come from huge areas too.
Yes.
And that's where those $100,000 could come in, right? So if you're a superstar out of Katy, Texas, right, there's a lot of money there. And there are a lot of companies, because it's not about just one company doing that, right? You could go find 10 companies that agree to do $10,000 deals. Now you're at 100K really
Yeah.
quick, right? So there is a lot being missed out, and I truly feel that somebody's going to make a legitimate point at some point here in Texas, and in other remaining states that are trying to hold on to and hide behind an amateurism. But just like the point I made earlier, if you can go work for the clothing company places in the mall and go work in their warehouses and rack clothes on the racks and do all the things that help them make money on that side, why can't you also be a model? Why can't you endorse their product online? And that's going to be interesting to find someone to have a counter response and a rebuttal to that, to where it can stand up in court.
No, I think the state of Texas is, you would say that they're a little bit behind in terms of the way that they structure their NIL. Whereas with me, I still do somewhat agree with the way Texas has handled it, instead of doing just a carte blanche, everybody at the high school level is allowed to collect NIL money. The aspect of them being legally minors is what really is the hang up on me. Whereas here in the state of Texas, high schoolers over the age of 17 can be allowed to make NIL compensation, which those are usually your seniors, or if you've been held back a year, maybe a junior is when you're getting that type of eligibility. But I can get a little bit more behind that aspect of it in terms of the legal protection of not having to go through a legal guardian, not having to go through a parent. Now it is a legal representation of the individual. There isn't a party aspect that comes to it. So I find it a little bit more tasteful for what UIL has done, for what slim credit we might be able to give to the UIL in terms of some of their business practices. But I give them a little bit of credit on that one, of the protection of the minor aspect of it. Now, obviously, is it justified to withhold that type of compensation from anybody? No. I don't agree with the idea that simply because it's legal here, you should do it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I feel that Texas takes pride in what the United States stands for, which is capitalism, right? We're not in a communist country. And I don't know if there's a bigger state that supports capitalism, right? It's the reason that people come here to Texas. I mean, you can drive down the freeway and see people holding signs of saying, I will work for food, I will work for this and that. Whereas in other states, I've seen just give me, right? So even the homeless here have a different mindset. So it's a little contradictory, if I'm being honest with you. If we're in a capitalism state that rewards people for working hard, but then they want to block an opportunity for a kid. Because let's be real here, Jake. You have an athlete that is already a national known name, an athlete that already has 50,000 plus followers on social media, right? And a brand company can get them to wear one of their shirts. How much money do you think that brand company can make? Now I'm going to answer the question, a lot. A lot. That's why these companies prefer to invest in these athletes. They're saving money on their bottom line because they're like, I can either go buy a bunch of Google AdWords, I can go buy, and try to get a bunch of, other models and do all this national campaigning, or I could just give 30% of my advertising and marketing budget to one athlete, which if they have that many followers, that athlete is not just an athlete at that point. They are also already an influencer, which means that they can help influence people to go buy those shirts. And if they want to have an athlete come and do a sign deal to where they got to come in the store as fans, buy a shirt, and then get that athlete to sign it, that's just the way of the world, man. That is capitalism at its finest. And there's opportunities for these athletes to help these companies. So it's not like that these companies are giving money away. And the come back to the counterpoint about with college, the reason that the NCAA wanted to set a governor around is because of the fact that a lot of these guys were paying athletes and quoting it as this is for work, but they were doing it just so they would stay at their favorite school and not leave. They're not doing that here on the high school level. Like you're playing where you live anyway. So there's no other rhyme or reason for these companies to invest in these athletes is no more than just to help make them more money by having these athletes represent their brand. And once again, if you're going to block that, Texas, then you also need to block those athletes for being able to even work in these clothing places. Don't let them work at these restaurants because they're helping them make money. No way you word it or the way you kind of shape it, there's still opportunity there for them to be compensated for their services. And so it's just weird to me that they're just putting a blind eye to them being able to do the other side of it.
A lot of debate will still be going on, both internally and externally, both with the states. I'm not sure if UIL is going to try and revise that rule unless, like we're saying here, some sort of domino effect is coming here out of Ohio where now other states are going to have to go forward and look at their NIL rules. California is somewhat similar to Texas where they do allow NIL, but there are a lot of stipulations that come in on top of that. Whereas California, one of the freest and most free-loving states in the country, NIL is permitted, but you cannot use the school logo, cannot use the uniform, cannot use direct references to the team. I think that's something yes, I think that's something that people in this state could get behind.
Yeah.
There's no direct tie to the school, which I prefer.
Right.
So long as it's not coming directly from the school.
Exactly.
It's
because
the athlete.
And because then that's what I'm saying, because now you're not promoting anything else. It's self-promotion. So I love that rule and I respect that rule. Florida's big on that as well too. We got our guys we represent there, and that's all we get told. Like, hey, when you do your photo shoot, video shoot, you're going to have to go rent a park, right? Or go rent a field because you're not going to be able to use the facilities here because that's against the rules, because that can create almost like a recruiting type deal. And we want to stay away from that on the high school level. But
also that happens anyways.
Whether you're getting paid or not.
Yes.
That's the whole thing, but once again, I love that those rules are in place for California and for Florida. That does need to be put in there. But you should not, once again, stop someone from being able to be compensated for their talents. Now, I'm fine with them copying and pasting what it is done on the college level, right? That's why they have, setups, right? They have a commission that's set up. And I know that people would think, oh, it's crazy. Who's going to want to pay? Look, you don't have to this is not rocket science. You don't have to go reinvent the wheel. Just simply state, we look at the athlete, we see how many followers he has, and if he meets this threshold, then we're good to go. They can be compensated, they can be paid. If they aren't at this threshold, then you can't pay them that much money if that's what needs to be. But I think it should be unlimited because, once again, it's high school and you're not affecting any kind of recruiting, nor are you affecting anything else from a competitive advantage standpoint.
There's definitely going to be a lot of discussion that comes through with that. Not sure how the UIL is going to rule that one as things move forward. Ohio definitely looks like it's going to be the proving ground of if the issue of a parent lawsuit coming forward will be the ultimate deciding factor that changes the mentalities and the, let's call it what it is, the
Yeah,
laws
exactly.
of every
Yeah.
other state moving forward.
And also, cool. I mean, you look at this being next week, right?
Yes.
Voting, right? You know, in Ohio, a swing state.
Yeah.
Ohio and Michigan, aren't they
I think
swing
so,
states a
yeah.
little bit? So, hey, now we're bringing it down to NIL in high school, Jake.
Yeah.
Let's swing it.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Because again, they voted no and they voted the proposition down in 2022. They will have an opportunity to overturn that in November of this year. But enough of the news. We're getting right back on track with a couple of new additions to the Protect You crew, a segment that you and I both love to do in terms of highlighting not only some of the newest talent that we've been able to bring on, but I like it when we're able to show a little bit of credit to the loyalty of some of the guys that have been members of the Protect You crew, whether that's, working things out behind the scenes or if we just been waiting for the right time to announce them. But Jay, I think you and I both agree that now is the right time to drop these two new additions to the Protect You crew.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I love just the way our formatted, because we could just do a data dump.
Yes.
And just have like 2 episodes of like, here's everybody that's a part of the crew. But we want to be fair, right? To every athlete and give them their time to shine, right? It's always good to where we spread it out. Like you mentioned, Jake, we've had a good number of these athletes already, under the Protect You level, right? Texas guys wanting to have us come in to do and help with the recruiting side of things, and our non-Texas guys, right? Our guys in Florida, Georgia, the states that do allow NIL, which we discussed, we're able to help them with the recruiting as well as with NIL. So definitely love how we're doing this, and we do appreciate the patience of our athletes that we represent here and letting them know, hey, your time has come. So with that being said, let's roll the first guy, Computer Jesus, our guy, Griffin Tillis. Right, Griffin Tillis out of Grand Oaks High School here in they don't want to be called the Woodlands. They want to be Spring.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they want to be Woodlands. But you're looking at a safety here for Grand Oaks High School. He is committed to Arizona. P4 guy, definitely has been on the radar for many years for a lot of coaches. And you kind of see why Arizona is so excited and why Griff equally is excited to be an Arizona Wildcat.
Yes, I think this is a guy that during this season, he suffered a terrible injury. He's been dealing with that, but I think it speaks both to him and to the people at Arizona that they were still honoring his commitment. They're still honoring the scholarship that he has. And I think you see why is because he is going to be an invaluable piece to that Wildcat defensive unit, both as a pressure element, as you see there laying the wood on the QP, but also as a great coverage guy. I think this is another example of that great
folded him up.
A great field general type of defensive back out of that safety position. A guy who can survey the entire field and then discern where do I need to be at any given time. That's what you want out of a safety. Is not all right, tell me where to go and then I'll do it. This is hey, watch the field and figure out for yourself where you need to be.
Jake, look, out of all due respect, brother, I don't even know what you just said. I'm watching this film, and I mean, he is coming downhill with aggression. I mean, I know you said something about coverage, and I know you said something about all the great things, and you're 100% correct because you typically are because you do your homework on our guys as well. But, I mean, the fact that he can play in the box, he can play over the top, I just love that all these clips are like the majority of them are all just him coming downhill and just laying that wood. I mean, I know we're about to get some here. Oh, he's like, I don't even need help. He knows his read and react time.
Saying he came across the field on that assignment too.
I mean, he can man up. I mean, look at that. I mean, just a phenomenal. That's a nasty pick. Oh, don't house call it. Oh, go get it. Oh no, he didn't get it. That's okay. Hey, but we see what he's able to do. And you're right, Jake. I mean, it's funny because we remember Justin Williams from the middle linebacker spot being able to go sideline to sideline. I love seeing a safety. They can also do the same thing here. And yeah, I mean, I see why Arizona's like, we don't even care. We don't even care that you're not getting to play a lot your senior year. Like we're good. I mean, we talked to the general manager this morning, right? That now we're at the process of getting his transcripts, right, and getting the current classes that he's in, like, because they know he's an early grad. Like, they are ready to lock and load. Like, November 15th is a big day. That's when those contracts can get sent out, in regards to the NIL packages, what it looks like, what the final numbers are going to be, how long they want to lock in a kid, whether it's a 12-month deal, 18 or 24-month deal. There's a lot that's going to be taking place here over the next, I would say, what is today, the 28th, Jake?
Yes,
next 20 days or so. And we're excited for it. But, Griff, we're so excited, brother, for you. Love the fact that everything is now 100% healthy and that you're ready to rock and roll again. And cannot be more excited for you. And let's just say that because of you, Jake and I will get to go out to the state of Arizona. I've never been to Arizona before.
Neither
Jake.
have I. Neither have I. It'll be a first time for the both of us. And
I think maybe we got a couple of guys at Arizona State might come in late to get. So then we'll get to go to Tempe, and then we also will get to go to, where's Arizona? What's that city? Tucson,
Arizona.
Yeah, Tucson and Tempe. But I'm looking forward to it. I hear it's gorgeous out there.
Say dress light because I know it gets hot out there in Arizona.
Hey, wait, maybe let's go to October, November.
And that's a different kind of heat out there too.
That's that dry heat where you don't feel it until you're like, I'm about to pass out, failure.
We're I'm cooking something on the dashboard type of heat.
Yeah, real talk. And I hear you can hear rattlesnakes in the background.
Mm-hmm.
A little nervous about that. Maybe
we'll make it. We'll make it. Yeah.
Maybe we can get a golf cart just to come get it. Just keep our feet off the ground.
No, but we'll be excited for that. I'm very excited for those future opportunities out there for you, Griff. We'll be looking forward to that. And another guy that you talk about having a bright future, this is a young gun that comes to us. Griffin Tillis was a class of 2026 guy. Now we got a class of 2028 coming from Clear Falls High School. It is Javion Jason. This is another guy, Jay, that, again, when you brought me on, sort of flew under the radar, but he'd been here for quite a while. But now that I see the highlights, now that I see the measurables, I understand why we're so high on this guy.
Yeah, no, this young man had a hell of a freshman season campaign. I mean, started as a true freshman, but he was at Clear Lake High School at the time before his parents moved, and picked up big offers, right? The biggest one was the University of Memphis, right? And you go look at what they're doing, right? Although they're a part of the group of five, they're one of the top group of five schools, which, let's be honest, is really a Power Four school already. They just can't get in a Power Football conference due to the politics of Ole Miss and Vanderbilt blocking them because they want to keep recruiting that Memphis area. But to get that offer as a freshman, and then now to have a great sophomore campaign to continuously top it off. He's one of the fan favorites around here at Protection United. I mean, just great young man. He's always reaching out. Yes or no, sir. So appreciative of everything that we're doing. He was one of the first that reached out to us, right? And went begged mom and dad to get him signed up, like I'm sure he was begging for a Happy Meal when he was 5 and 6 years old, of just begging until they were like, fine, we'll meet with these guys. They met with us. They saw what we were about. And like you mentioned, Jake, although he's young, he has a couple more full seasons of high school football left to play. I mean, he's a guy that is on everyone's radar naturally from the wide receiver position. A great route runner, has the explosiveness, great hands, and he has the personality to match and what you look for in an entertaining wide receiver.
Yes, there's going to be a lot to look forward to as he continues to develop. There's still a lot of time before that 2028 class is going to get the call to join the Division I and the collegiate ranks. I think Javion is going to fit in real nicely with the rest of those guys.
Facts, brother.
He'll fit in real nicely. But that rounds it out here for the last segment before we get into a brand new one and a returning face to the Protect You podcast.
Yes. Look, the fans have spoken. Let's just put it out there that way. We as podcastees, I don't know what podcasters, we feel that we do a phenomenal job. I think, at least we thought, the fans were here for Jay and Jake.
Mm-mm.
We brought on Addie Farrell. We've been upstage. We bring on Addie one time, and she has gotten more views on one little reel clip than I would say the past 3 real clips that you and I have done. And that's okay. We're here for it. The fans have spoken. They want Addie Farrell to be more involved in the podcast. And we're just blessed to have her be a part of it. And here we are.
Yes. Yes. Those of y'all that may remember back to when she asked a hard-hitting question to our John Cooper boys about who on the team would you not let date your sister. She's bringing that action here now to the Protect You podcast for a new segment that we're calling here on the Protection United podcast of Crunch Time with Addie. Computer Jesus, you are good to roll the first clip, and welcome Addie back into the Protect You podcast fold.
Hey guys, it's Addie. Last time I hit up some of our athletes to ask them a question, but now I'm coming to you, Jay and Jake. As fans of the show, we all know how deeply you guys are involved with fantasy football, but how much do you really care about them? Which team do you love more, your fantasy football team or your favorite real-world team?
So the first question about fantasy football, Jay, you and I have talked a lot about which teams we like, how good our teams have been throughout the season, some of our favorite athletes on those teams. But the question now of my fantasy football team or my favorite real world team, as much as I love my fantasy football teams and as invested in those leagues as I am, I feel like this is a pretty easy decision for me to go with my real world team. I know I've talked a lot about my Longhorns. I love the University of Texas.
You do?
Not just the football team, which I feel like is the main attaching point for a lot of college fans, but I love everything about the volleyball team, especially Kari Spears has been incredible this year for the Longhorns. Number 2 team in the country, still undefeated up to this point. The baseball team is incredible. The softball team coming off of their Women's College World Series win over Texas Tech. If you can't get your grades up, you get your guns up is the way I say it. But I just love so much about that university, so much about that program, and I will bleed burnt orange till the day I die. And Jay, there's only one way the horns go, and that is horns up. So I got to go with my real world team on this one.
Okay. Let me bring the audience back. Oh,
I know. It's sort of like saying, yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, pretty much. So for me, right, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, I was a big Tennessee Vol fan. Was blessed to watch Peyton Manning, right, when he was there, Jason Witten, Al Wilson, Jamal Lewis and company.
Oh, yeah.
And Peyton leaves, and then, then you have T. Martin come in, right? And like, Peyton was the championship. We're never going to win. T. Martin said, hold my coffee.
Yes.
Gets us a natty, first one ever in the BCS era, beat a good Florida State team. And that would probably be there. Then, of course, on the NFL side, the Raiders have been – my uncles kind of beat that in me a little bit because my whole family is Cowboy fans, except for 2 uncles. And I'm the first grandchild, and they were going to make sure that I went their way. So I got beat into it, right?
Yes.
The Raiders are truly blood in, blood out. But that was forced on me, right?
Fair.
I live in Texas now. And sometimes, right, when you move away, right, that long distance can create that true out of sight, out of mind, right? So I'm actually going to go with my fantasy team, right? I'm strongly invested in fantasy. I feel that, because of my 4 leagues, one being guys that I went to college with, played college basketball with, another one being just to kind of keep some of my hometown friends that I grew up with. And then the other 2, right, just new friends that I've made here, right, as I moved to Houston. And it's something about those drafts and the camaraderie that goes with it and the ish talk that goes for a 4-month span. It keeps us all connected, right? And I'm really big on relationships. And so I'm going to go with fantasy football.
No, that makes total sense, Jay. Because I can understand, too, that there's a lot more of that community aspect, the more intimate community aspect, because we talk about fandom with professional or collegiate sports. It's you're a member of a countless thousands, if not millions of people that support that team.
Yes.
Whereas, like you're talking about here, it's that small family type aspect of knowing those guys and having known them for a while and knowing them intimately as well.
And when it comes to building real relationships, right, you have to be intentional.
Yes.
Right. And fantasy helps organically make that happen, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody has lives. You got families, kids, work. So you can say you're going to keep up with your college buddies let's be real. That's going to be almost impossible, right? If you're going to also have a family, because the wife is not going to be cool with you going to the bar to reminisce
Right.
3-4 times a
About
month.
college days.
Right. No wife in America is here for that, right? But fantasy football does help, with that. And, in my main one, I'd say my biggest one, with all my college buddies, right? We'll be coming up on year 10, or excuse me, year 20, I believe. I got to go back and look at it to see, but we're thinking about going to Vegas and having a live
There you
draft
go.
there and kind of really bringing in, that monumental, year for us. And I do think it'll be year 20, I think.
That's
Jake.
impressive.
I
That's
believe
impressive.
so. I believe it's year 20 because we've been doing this way longer than 10 years, I feel like. So yeah. But anyway, fantasy football is my answer. That's what I'm going to go with.
No, and I don't know if it's from my background of just, having always been involved around college sports and having really been involved with University of Texas, but I think it's also when people in my friend group, especially, shout outs to those of y'all that might be watching this, they know me as the Texas guy, where it is every game day. I'm getting texts, I'm getting calls of, hey, what did you think about this? A play just happened and a penalty was thrown. Hey, Jake, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? And I think it's a little bit to do with, obviously having my background of being in sports media. They tend to rely on me, but there's just one guy. Shout outs to Mr. Fitzhugh if you ever, for some reason, see this clip. Every time I see this guy, he's a very good, family friend. I'm friends with his daughter, and every time I see this man, it is always a discussion about Texas somehow. I am at her wedding. I am at Bailey Fitzhugh's wedding, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, Jake, thank you so much for being here. It really means the most. What do you think about Texas hiring the new basketball coach?" And I was like, completely blindside me on, yeah, sure, wouldn't miss it for anything. I think it's a good move, I think. And then saw him again at another wedding, the one that I was able to show here on the podcast. Comes up to me, what do you think on Arch this season? What do you think about Arch this season? So I just feel like it's always something.
Yeah.
Something just keeps bringing me back to UT that I always just keep getting reinvested in them one way or another.
Hey, you Longhorn fans are different.
Yes, that we are.
You
that
guys
we are.
are different. So, all right.
Let's
go to the next question.
That's question one down. Addie has another question for us
Yeah.
here before she sends us off. Let's get into question number 2.
We all know that sports collectibles can be pretty expensive, but how much are y'all willing to spend to rep your favorite sports team? What is the most you've spent on something sports related, and what was it? Have fun.
I really had to think about this one. I really have to think about this because despite what you may think, I'm fairly frugal when it comes to my spending. And especially when it comes to representing my passions. The hobby I mainly spend on are my video games and my movies. So I think the most I've spent on something maybe UT related would be I have the championship banner that I hang up in my apartment that has all of their football national championships throughout the years.
Okay.
And that, I'm trying to think back, how much did I spend on that? That one may have been $70, $75, which isn't obscene, I don't feel like, considering how much I know certain collectors like to spend on their stuff. But I would say maybe that's the most. Or if we turn it to my hobby of video games, I spent $80 to get NCAA College Football 14
Okay.
back when that was popular, and that seemed like a sound investment at the time because that game ended up peaking for a while. I think just the disc alone was worth $150 at one point, but
Okay.
since the release of the new games has plummeted in price, but I think I would say 75 to maybe $80-ish is the most I've spent on anything sports related.
Okay. All right. Mine is fairly easy of an answer, and that would be Starting Protection United. We got Louise here.
Yeah.
We have top of the line equipment
Just
here
say
in the studio.
built a whole studio.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, I don't want to throw out exact amount.
No need for an exact dollar amount.
But yeah, I spent a ton starting this, right, and turning this dream into reality for me. So I know this is a company, right, but it's still sports related.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's nothing else that I've spent that could come
Say anywhere close
to this.
Saying I think your investment has paid off a little bit more than mine. So the return on investment.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to ask that question too, because there are a lot of ways you could take that. I know there are some ridiculous collectors out there that collect trading cards, that collect signatures.
Oh yeah.
My dad, he has a ton of sports stuff. He's an LA Rams fan. He grew up in that area of California, so he has a bunch of stuff of just classic LA Rams stuff. He has a signed Walter Payton poster that he has because he just loved watching Sweetness back in the day.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how expensive some of that stuff might be, but
yeah,
I think that's an interesting question to ask.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, like people pay a lot for that bloody sock for Kurt Schilling.
Kurt Schilling's, yeah.
Jordan's Game 6 jersey. Kobe's last time wearing his jersey. Like, there's a lot of those guys out there for sure. But yeah, when this question was presented to me, I instantly knew what my answer was going to be because for me personally, yeah, it doesn't get any more expensive of a sports investment, right, than what we've done here at Protection United. So, but I'm excited, and yeah, hope that return does happen. We got a strong 2026 class in 27, and really a big one in 28. So, we'll see what happens. But
yes,
as of right now, there's an investment still. That just get that back, I'll be happy.
But it's looking like it's already starting to pay off a lot, Jay, here. As again, we'd like to thank everybody for watching this episode as we finish this one up here. A lot of support has been coming in through both the sharing of clips, sharing of moments, follow, subscribe, everything. Every drop in the bucket truly does matter for us as we move forward here on the Protect You podcast. But Jay, that does it for this week. We packed a lot into this one. Breaking news, Ball and Get the Call, new additions, bringing Addie back in to get a little bit more of the spotlight.
Yeah, and we're going to have a birthday celebration next week.
That we will.
Getting announced that Protection United being 1 year old. Right?
Yes.
And so can't wait for that production, right? I know our inside guys will have a lot of cool graphics and things that they'll want to post about that. Obviously coming back and recapping our amazing weekend we have coming up, going to La Tech as well as the world's largest cocktail party to watch Florida and Georgia compete on the gridiron and watch Justin and DJ look at each other just like they did in high school.
Yes. That's going to be fun to see.
That's going to be fun to see.
That's going to be fun to see.
Dudes, I mean, imagine looking at the same dude for 8 straight years.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of time.
Like, dude, I can't get away from you. Every year I see you, right? They both are saying it to each other, but no, they're really good friends off of the field. They both, send each other Bible verses and Bible, clips, they or sermon clips, I should say, and Bible verses, but they really good friendship. So a little tongue in cheek there, but they're still going to be looking at each other for a lot, and can't wait to get down there for that. But it's going to be awesome to recap it all and then have a little birthday celebration, Jake.
It's going to be a lot to look forward to this upcoming week, and we hope y'all are looking forward to it as well. We'll catch you all on the next one. This has been Jake Wilson alongside Jay Mickens. Justin Woods was our producer. We'll catch you all on the next one. We'll see you around.